Have you ever woken up feeling more drained than when you went to bed, even though you're sure you got enough hours of sleep? For many people over 60, this isn't just an occasional fluke. It's an everyday struggle that starts to feel like an inevitable part of aging. But before you resign yourself to tossing and turning all night, you should know that some common bedroom mistakes can quietly sabotage your rest and over time chip away at your overall health. In this video, we'll explore 5 of these mistakes and talk about why they're especially risky once you're past 60. The good news is, most of these pitfalls have surprisingly simple fixes. Even if you only correct a few, you might see a real improvement, not just in how you sleep, but in how energetic and clear-minded you feel during the day. If restful nights have been slipping through your fingers, stay with me until the end, because a few subtle changes in your bedroom routine could be all it takes to transform your nights from restless to restorative. Imagine Linda, a 67-year-old grandmother who always believed her nighttime rituals were fine. She'd read for a bit in bed, watch a bit of late-night television, then set her alarm and drift off. But over the last few years, she'd been waking up with stiff joints, backaches, and a persistent sense of fatigue that lingered well into lunchtime. She wrote it off as age catching up to her. Yet after seeing a new doctor who asked detailed questions about her sleep environment, Linda realized her bedroom was working against her in ways she never suspected. In just a couple of weeks, after fixing a few key issues, she discovered she could wake up without that nagging tension in her back, and she even noticed an improvement in her mood. Linda's story might sound familiar, and it underscores how bedroom mistakes can silently undermine your health, especially after 60, when your body craves a more delicate balance of comfort, posture support, and sleep quality. Before we begin, let me remind you I'm not a physician, nor am I giving personalized medical advice. If you have specific concerns, whether chronic pain, insomnia, or other issues, talk to your doctor about the best course of action. But in the meantime, these bedroom mistakes are so common that almost anyone can benefit from evaluating their nightly routine. If you find yourself guilty of any of these mistakes, don't panic. Each mistake usually has straightforward fixes. Let's dive in. The first mistake is using a saggy, outdated, or poor quality mattress. It's astonishing how many people keep the same mattress for 15 or 20 years, assuming that as long as it doesn't have major lumps, it's fine. The truth is, mattresses lose their ability to support you long before they visibly break down. By 60 or beyond, your joints and spine need more consistent, targeted support to prevent tossing and turning and to alleviate pressure points. A bad mattress can aggravate hip or shoulder pain, contribute to lower back stiffness, and even make it harder to breathe comfortably if it fails to align your spine and neck. One day of poor sleep might not seem like a crisis, but every night spent on a subpar surface builds up stress on your muscles and discs. Over time, you might develop chronic pain or an inability to find a comfortable position, which disrupts deep sleep cycles vital for memory, immune health, and mood regulation. People often hesitate to replace a mattress due to cost or because they think it's not that bad. But if you're experiencing frequent stiffness or you can't recall the last time you upgraded, it's probably time to consider a new one. Many modern mattresses are designed with pressure-relieving foams or adaptive coils that can offer a gentler cradle for older bodies. And if you worry about firmness, remember that soft doesn't necessarily mean unsupportive. The key is balanced support that keeps your spine aligned while cushioning sensitive areas. Mistake number 2 is letting a flurry of electronics invade your sleeping space. These days, it's common to see TVs, laptops, smartphones, and tablets all in the bedroom, and you might catch yourself scrolling social media or watching Netflix late at night. The problem is twofold: the mental stimulation that bright screens and engaging content generate, and the blue light that can suppress melatonin production. Melatonin is a hormone that signals your body it's time for rest, and as you age, your levels naturally tend to decline. If you then add bright blue-tinged light from screens late in the evening, you risk undermining what melatonin your body does produce. That can shift your circadian rhythm in a way that leaves you wide awake at bedtime or causes fragmented sleep. Maybe you chalk it up to a random bout of insomnia, but in reality, you're fighting your biology. Doctors often suggest turning off screens at least 30 to 60 minutes before bed. Or if you must use a device, installing apps or features that reduce blue light. But the best approach is to keep as many electronics as possible out of the bedroom altogether. Try reading a physical book or magazine instead of an e-reader, or if you enjoy nighttime TV, watch it in another room, so by the time you enter your bedroom, your mind and eyes can shift more easily into sleep mode. Yes, this might feel like a sacrifice if you're used to drifting off to your favorite show. But if you're serious about better sleep and improved morning energy, it's worth the effort. Third is keeping the bedroom too warm or poorly ventilated. Many older adults struggle with temperature regulation due to hormonal changes, certain medications, or just a shifting metabolism. If your bedroom stays stuffy or overly warm, it can disrupt your ability to cool down enough for deep sleep. Studies have found that a room temperature around 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit is ideal for most people. Your body's core temperature naturally dips at night, and if external conditions don't allow that drop, you can experience restlessness, night sweats, or frequent awakenings. Some seniors also find that dryness or stale air triggers coughing or sinus issues, compounding the problem. Adding a fan or a small humidifier, or simply cracking a window if weather permits, can improve airflow and keep your respiratory tract happier. Also, consider layering bedding instead of using a single thick comforter. That way, you can easily adjust how much warmth you retain throughout the night. If you share a bed and your partner has different temperature preferences, you might explore dual-zone bedding solutions or separate blankets, which can dramatically reduce nighttime conflicts over who's too hot or too cold. Temperature might seem like a small detail, but if you frequently wake up sweating or find it hard to fall asleep when you're a bit chilled, a poorly regulated bedroom can sabotage the quality of your rest. Another less obvious mistake is going to bed too early or adhering to an inconsistent bedtime that doesn't match your natural sleep drive. We often assume we should sleep from, say, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., but as you age, your sleep cycles can shift. Some older adults become sleepy earlier in the evening, then wake up at 3 a.m. unable to fall back asleep. Others might find they don't feel drowsy until later, yet force themselves to lie in bed for hours. Either pattern can lead to frustration and fragmented sleep. Over time, you might develop negative associations with your bed, viewing it as a place of lying awake rather than resting. The bedroom environment is part of this puzzle. But so is how you schedule your evening. If you frequently nap or doze off on the couch early in the evening, you might inadvertently push your true bedtime later. Conversely, if you get bored and retreat to bed just because you think you should, your body might not be ready. This mismatch leads to tossing and turning, which fosters a cycle of sleep anxiety. Instead, try to observe when you genuinely feel sleepy. Your eyes droop, your head nods. Plan your bedtime around that window and keep the bedroom off limits until you reach it. If you're not sure, keep a small diary or journal to see when you naturally nod off. That data can help you set a consistent schedule that better aligns with your internal clock. Additionally, watch out for extended or late afternoon naps, which can sap your nighttime sleep pressure. Fifth, ignoring the general clutter, chaos, or lighting conditions in your bedroom can undermine your rest in ways you might not suspect. As you age, you might accumulate stacks of papers, old furniture, random boxes, or laundry piles in your sleeping space, which can create a sense of mental and physical disarray. Even if you don't consciously pay attention to it, your subconscious can register the clutter as a to-do list waiting for you, preventing the mind from fully winding down. Some older adults also keep bright nightlights or overhead lighting that's too intense, making it hard to slip into a fully relaxed state. On the flip side, poor lighting can pose safety hazards if you need to get up during the night. The solution is a balance. Aim for a space that feels peaceful and relatively tidy with minimal distractions. If you can, store items in closed cabinets or drawers rather than in visible piles. Opt for soft, warm-colored bulbs for any nightlight or reading lamp. If you're worried about tripping, place a low, dim path light near the floor to guide you rather than using bright overhead lights that shock your eyes if you wake up at 2 a.m. The goal is to make your bedroom a sanctuary, a place that signals rest to both your body and your mind. When the environment is jumbled or unwelcoming, you risk lighter, more fitful sleep, as well as potential accidents if you're navigating clutter in the dark. So how do you go about fixing these mistakes if you recognize yourself in them? Start with one or two that feel the easiest or most urgent. If your mattress is older than a decade or if you wake up with aches daily, seriously consider an upgrade. Research the different types, memory foam, latex, hybrid, and read reviews, especially from older adults with similar concerns. If budget is a factor, look for holiday sales or discounted floor model. Next, check your bedroom temperature. Experiment with fans, open windows, or adjusting the thermostat at night. If you share a bed, talk openly with your partner about comfort levels so you can find a compromise. Also, remove or reduce electronics in your bedroom. This might mean placing your phone on a bedside table, but silencing notifications and using a dim display or a separate alarm clock. Keep your TV time in the living room if possible, or at least turn off the TV half an hour before lights out. If you're used to dozing off to the TV's hum, try substituting gentle music or an audiobook on a timer. Next, refine your bedtime schedule. If you consistently find yourself wide awake at 3 a.m., try pushing your bedtime 30 minutes later and see how your body responds. Conversely, if you're consistently drifting off on the couch at 8 p.m., maybe you need a slightly earlier bedtime, or you should allow yourself a brief early evening nap, followed by a later bedtime. The key is consistency. Aim to wake up at roughly the same time every morning, even if you had a rough night. This consistency helps train your circadian rhythm over time. If naps are crucial for you, keep them short, 20 to 30 minutes at most, and avoid napping too late in the day. Watch your fluid intake later in the evening as well, especially if frequent bathroom trips disrupt your sleep. Finally, declutter and reorganize your bedroom. You don't have to transform it into a showroom, but at least clear walking paths and remove anything that visually signals work or unfinished business. If you're storing random items in your bedroom purely for convenience, consider relocating them. Add touches that feel calming. A soft rug, a pleasing color scheme, or a single piece of wall art that you find soothing. Consider the lighting carefully. A reading lamp that's bright enough to let you see your book, but not so harsh that it keeps you alert. If the overhead light is glaring, replace it with a lower wattage bulb or install a dimmer. Pay attention to your window coverings too. Too much light from street lamps or early dawn can hinder deep sleep, so blackout curtains or blinds might be worth exploring. On the other hand, if you enjoy waking with natural light, a gentle sunrise can be beneficial for your circadian rhythm as long as it doesn't occur too early for your schedule. It's also important to note the role of underlying health issues. If you have sleep apnea, restless leg syndrome, or chronic pain conditions, no matter how perfect your bedroom is, you might still have trouble sleeping. In those cases, these tips act as supportive measures, but won't replace specialized treatment. Talk to your doctor if you suspect a more serious disorder. Nevertheless, it's often the case that environmental improvements reduce the severity of symptoms, making it easier for medication or therapy to be effective. The same logic applies if you're on medications that cause nocturia or disrupt sleep cycles. You might need to adjust dosing times or speak with your healthcare provider about alternative meds. But even then, the right bedroom conditions help you make the most of whatever sleep windows you can get. Don't be discouraged if it takes time to see results. Sleep quality is a sum of many factors, and sometimes older adults have built up years of less than ideal habits or conditions. The body might need a few weeks of consistent change to settle into a new normal. A good strategy is to keep a simple sleep diary for a month, nothing fancy, just jotting down when you go to bed, how you slept, and if you woke up with aches or unrest. Record any changes you make, like added a fan or started turning off TV at 9:30. Over time, you can see patterns emerge. Maybe your backaches recede after replacing the mattress, or you find that shutting off electronics earlier helps you drift off in half the usual time. Celebrating small victories, like shaving 10 minutes off how long it takes to fall asleep, keeps you motivated to maintain these improvements. Let's circle back to Linda's example. She replaced her 14-year-old mattress with a medium-firm hybrid. She also removed the TV from her bedroom, placing it in the den. At first she found it odd, as she loved watching late-night shows from under the covers. But she stuck with it. She also made sure to keep her bedroom cooler by about 3 degrees at night. The result? Within 2 weeks, she noticed she wasn't waking up with that dull ache in her lower back, and her overall rest felt deeper. Her partner, who initially missed the TV, got used to reading a book in the living room before bed and discovered he too was falling asleep faster. Small changes, big outcomes. You might be thinking, I can't fix all of this, it's too much. You don't have to tackle everything at once. Prioritize. If your biggest complaint is back pain in the morning, start with the mattress or experiment with pillows that support your spine better. If you suspect your biggest sleep disruptor is late-night tech usage, begin by instituting an electronics cutoff time. Gradual steps often lead to more lasting change, since you can evaluate what works best for you. And while some tips might sound trivial, like adjusting the lighting or decluttering the nightstand, the cumulative effect can be remarkable. It's like building a puzzle. No single piece completes the picture, but together they form a coherent, restful scene. Let's do a quick recap. The first mistake is sticking with an old or unsupportive mattress that can sabotage your back and joint health. The second is allowing electronics and bright screens to invade your bedroom, undermining your melatonin production. The third is keeping the room too warm or stuffy, preventing the natural drop in body temperature needed for deep sleep. The fourth is forcing a bedtime that doesn't align with your sleep drive, resulting in either too early awakenings or restless nights. And the fifth is tolerating clutter, poor lighting, or a chaotic environment that fails to signal your brain it's time to relax. Addressing these 5 areas can create a sanctuary of rest, which becomes more critical the older you get, given how easy it is for small issues to cascade into big health concerns. Improved sleep can positively affect your blood pressure, immune function, mental clarity, and emotional balance. It's not just about feeling more awake in the morning, though that alone can be life-changing. It's about giving your body the chance to repair tissues, consolidate memories, and regulate hormones. Older adults who routinely experience poor sleep are at a higher risk for conditions like depression, heart disease, and even dementia. That's how vital quality rest is. By tackling these mistakes, you set the stage for better overall well-being. So, if any of these bedroom pitfalls ring a bell, take the time this week to make at least one adjustment. Observe your sleep for a few nights. If you see even a small improvement, that's a sign you're on the right track. Keep going, layering more changes as you feel ready. Don't underestimate the power of a well-arranged, electronics-free, temperature-optimized space. And keep in mind that if you live with a partner or spouse, you might need to compromise. Discuss each other's needs. Maybe one loves it warm, the other cold. You can figure out solutions like separate blankets or a fan on one side of the bed. Collaboration can make the changes more harmonious and ensure both of you reap the rewards. If, after trying these tips, you still wake up groggy, in pain, or with an unshakable sense of fatigue, it's worth consulting a sleep specialist or your doctor. Some older adults discover sleep apnea or other conditions that require targeted treatment, but even in those cases, a supportive bedroom environment can only help. It ensures that once your medical issues are managed, you have the right setup to maximize the benefits of therapy or medication. Think of it like preparing the ground before planting seeds. You might have the best seeds in the world, but if the soil is rocky and dry, they won't flourish. To wrap up, remember that better sleep isn't a luxury. It's a fundamental part of aging with grace and resilience. Don't fall into the trap of believing that subpar rest is just how it is past 60. That mindset can lead you to ignore solvable problems. If Linda's experience and the experiences of countless others are any clue, you have more control over your nightly rest than you might think. Whether it's a mattress swap, unplugging electronics, fine-tuning the thermostat, adjusting your bedtime, or decluttering your space, each step can contribute to a night of deeper, more restorative sleep. And when you wake up well-rested, you're better equipped to savor your days. Whether it's spending time with family, pursuing hobbies, or simply enjoying a clear-headed sense of being alive. Thank you for taking the time to learn about these 5 bedroom mistakes. If you found this information helpful, consider sharing it with someone else who might be struggling with their sleep. If you have your own tips or stories of overcoming bedroom pitfalls, leave a comment. You never know which small piece of advice might click perfectly for someone else. And if you haven't already, subscribe or follow to stay updated on more ways to live a healthier, more vibrant life after 60. Sleep well, stay curious, and here's hoping your bedroom can become a true haven of rest, something that nourishes your body and mind for years to come. Until next time, wishing you sweet dreams and energizing mornings.